2016 Kawasaki KX250F is an all-around great bike, has decent suspension, and easy to ride. We've been putting tons of hours at local test tracks in Southern California on the Kawasaki. Here are 20 tips that we found for the green machine that you may want to know. There are times when you don't have to wonder who makes the best exhaust for a given bike. In the case of the 2016 KX250F, there is only one answer: Pro Circuit. Although the Kawasaki sits third in horsepower amongst all the 250Fs, it actually sits first when you only compare it to the Japanese models, sitting at just shy of 40 ponies. The days of sticking with stock green on a Kawasaki KX250F are long over. Sycra makes a complete PowerFlow plastic kit in stock green, flow green, black, and white. At MXA, we chose to go with the all-white theme. We ordered custom Decal Works graphics to go with our Sycra white plastics because Decal actually has special die cups for the Sycra plastic shapes. A must-have on the Kawasaki is stiffer clutch springs. With some of its competitors coming stock with better clutch systems, Kawasaki needed some love to compete on their level. We installed 22mm offset triple clamps in place of the 22.5mm clamps. This does make a noticeable difference in the Kawasaki's handling. The different trail makes cornering more precise in all situations. With our Pro Circuit clamps installed, we decided to run a Neckin KTM handlebar, which have a little less sweep and bar ends that are slightly lower. Our solution to Kawasaki's front forks was to have Pro Circuit's Bones Bacon revalve the shim stack and change out the pressure spring, compression needle, and low speed valve. These changes allowed both pros and vets to race with the same forks with little more than clicker and fork spring preload changes. The Showa shock tends to overpower the fork, so damping needs to be more progressive. We had Pro Circuit revalve the shock and add in a free-flowing shock piston and high-speed collar to work in conjunction with the front forks. We also added a bladder cap kit to the shock reservoir to enlarge the nitrogen chamber for cooler temps. We had our shock valve to work with Pro Circuit's longer shock linkage. We prefer to run a longer Pro Circuit shock linkage. It lowers the rear of the bike and provides an added dose of low-speed compression to hold the shock higher in its initial stroke. Kawasaki stock chain guides do not last long. Typically, we run a TM Design Works slide and guide kit, but Pro Circuit suggested we try its carbon fiber chain guide system. We were a little surprised to find the old school Dunlop MX51 tires on both ends of the 2016 Kawasaki KX250F. We switched to a Dunlop MX32 front and mated that to a Dunlop MX52 rear. Kawasaki includes two additional map couplers that can be swapped out with ease. A Lomi track would lend itself to the white coupler, and for harder pack tracks, you'd probably want to run the black. Kawasaki upped its front brake rotor to a 270mm front rotor. This was a big improvement, but we still had to bleed the front brake after the first hour of riding. It got spongy quickly, but with new fluid, it perked up. We decided to swap out grips for AME's full waffle clamp-on grips. This fixes the grip and throttle tube issues in one quick swoop. Although Kawasaki has an option to move the foot pegs on their bikes, no MXA test rider has done so. MXA has seen issues with the water spigot coming out in the KX250F engine. If it does come loose, you can pull it out, peen it, press it back in, and Loctite it back in. A mentionable note are the valve buckets. They do wear out very quickly. We have enjoyed racing this bike alongside our other 250Fs for about a year now. We're excited to see what Kawasaki brings to the table in 2017 and hope that some of these tips help you guys with your 2016 Kawasaki KX250F. For more bike tests, news, and stories from MXA, head over to motocrossactionmag.com, and as always, head over to the newsstand and look for a new issue of Motocross Action Magazine.